Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm from JennyCardDesigns. Thanks so much for stopping by to spend some time with me here today. My YouTube channel contains content that is intended to share paper crafting, tutorials, and inspiration with all of you. I hope that you enjoy. I'm going to be using my template reference book here. I have a ton of templates inside of this book, and in the description down below you'll find a link where you can find all of these templates so that you can download them and create your own reference book just like this one. So in this book I have a ton of templates that I've designed, including envelopes, boxes, tags, all sorts of things. And what they are is basic measurements for you to be able to create simple crafts in your craft room with a visual design. And all of the templates that I've designed for you have a coordinating quick tutorial on YouTube where you can get right down to the point exactly how to make whatever project that you're looking to make. Now today we're going to be looking at slimline cards and envelopes. I already have a top folding slimline card and envelope. I have a template for this already and a video tutorial to show you how to make this specific card and envelope. Now today I've designed a new one for you. I have a template for a side folding slimline envelope. So the side fold means it pretty much looks like a business size envelope. The only difference is that we're going to step it up so that it matches our card projects and uses a nicer quality type of paper and sort of coordinates together with everything. So I'm going to walk you through how to make this envelope. So starting with our paper trimmer, we're going to work on the card base first. So I have a couple of sheets of cardstock here, and I have this shimmer cardstock that we'll get to later. I'm going to show you something with that at the end. So I have two colors of purple cardstock here. Now these are a heavy base weight cardstock. They are 110 pounds. So that's what I'm using to make my card and my envelope today. It's a nice quality feel. So we'll start by taking my first sheet of cardstock on the 8.5 inch side. I'm going to put it in my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut this down to 7.5 inches. Then I'm going to rotate my cardstock one turn, and then I'm going to cut this at 8 3/4 inches. So this is going to create our slimline card. Now you can take these scraps of paper and keep them to stamp your sentiments on and use them to design on your card project or design your envelope, whatever you like. So now we're going to grab the scoreboard and we're going to insert the card into the scoreboard on the 7.5 inch side. We are going to score at 3 3/4 inches. And then we are going to crease our fold. Now I always like to fold away from my score mark. Use my bone folder to crease that fold, and voila, we have a beautiful slimline card. Pretty simple. Now if you're looking for some layers for your slimline card, I also have a template for this, and I have all the measurements worked out for you to create this stack of layers that you see here. Now I use cardstock to make a sample of my layer, and in the description below I will leave this for you so that you have a copy of these measurements and you can take your own cardstock and cut out your own sample. I will also be sure to leave on this specific template, I will put the measurements and the score marks for your slimline card so that you have that for reference too, because I don't have that in any of my templates, but I'll add it in to this one for you. We're going to set this aside, and now we're going to take our cardstock to create our slimline envelope. Okay, so I've got my scoreboard and another sheet of 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, and I'm going to start with step number 1. On the 8.5 inch side, I'll score at 2 inches. And then I'll score at 6 inches. And then I'll rotate my cardstock one turn to the left for step number 2 and score at 1 inch and then score at 10 inches. And then that will be it for the scoreboard. We'll move this out of the way and we'll start making some cuts. So the red lines on the template show you which parts you need to cut off completely. The score marks give you a guide, so we'll go ahead and we'll cut off all 4 of those corners. And now you should have, on the left hand side, you have a smaller flap, and on the right hand side you have a larger flap. The smaller flap is what we'll use to close our envelope. And now I'm giving you a close-up here of step number 4, where we're going to make some simple angle cuts on both sides of the cardstock on those little flaps that I'm showing you here. So we'll cut off those little corners, trying to make them as even as possible. And this is what we should have so far. Now we're going to crease all of the folds. I'll use my bone folder to help me do that. And then I'm going to take a corner rounder and round the corners of my closing flap. The flap that we want to round is the smaller flap. So the smaller flap measures 2 inches and the larger one measures 2.5. So you'll see when you're making the envelope which part is which. And now we're going to add some adhesive to the larger flap where everything will adhere together. Now make sure you put adhesive on this part of the envelope instead of those little parts where the angle cuts are, because you don't want your adhesive to go past where you'll be able to see it. Okay, now we'll add some adhesive to the top of the envelope, and we'll save this for when we close our envelope. And you want to make sure that your adhesive isn't too thick, because otherwise when you slip your card in and remove the release paper off the back of the adhesive, then the adhesive will stick to your card. So you don't want it to go past the cardstock edge here. So just keep that in mind when you're applying your adhesive. This is the most amount of cardstock I could give you in order to keep this envelope template down to 1 sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. If you want to take this envelope one step further, don't add the adhesive yet. Here I've got a sheet of shimmer cardstock and I just cut it in half. So I have a half sheet of cardstock which now measures 8.5 by 5.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip that inside of my Slimline envelope. I'll round the corners to make it match my envelope. You don't want to put adhesive past that little score mark on the envelope because this will need to move a little bit. Otherwise it will be stiff and your envelope won't close properly. So you can slip this into your envelope and then just slowly work in the crease so that everything lines up nicely and it will close nice and smooth. You can use your bone folder here to help crease the fold on that cardstock. That'll make this envelope one step up. Then you can add your adhesive after the fact. So if you'll see, my adhesive is now behind my shimmer cardstock there, but you can do this the right way when you make yours. So that is it for this template tutorial. This one's a little bit more in-depth so that we get a good idea of how to make this top folding slimline card. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. You'll find on screen a link to my playlist of template tutorials where you can download all of the templates and make all kinds of different size cards and envelopes and tags and boxes and so much more. So thanks for spending your time with me here today. Have yourself a lovely day and I will see you in the next one. Bye!